It's back, baby.
Hey guys, welcome back. I just want to film this quick iPhone video and say the Bolt is back, baby. That is correct. GM recently released just today press release naming that the Bolt EV is going to stick around for a next generation. Now, we don't know if this is going to be a complete ground up redesign or maybe a heavy refresh infused with the Ultium platform and technology that is coming out in some of their newer GM EVs. I think this is a great win for everybody out there. The press release basically said that it was based on consumer demand and feedback that the Bolt was going away, that they decided to keep it around or bring it back, however you want to look at it. But like I said, I think this is a great win for anybody out there that wants an affordable EV, updated technology, and something just on the smaller side of things, because a lot of the EVs out there are growing in size, becoming not only more expensive, just larger in general with larger batteries and stuff like that. So the Bolt in itself, even in the current generation, remains very compelling given the price point, the range, and just the overall package that you're getting for the money. It's a great value, so I'm thinking this next generation Bolt will utilize the same formula, same hatchback, small compact design that this generation did, and just kind of bump up the technology, use some of the more advanced battery architecture, chemistry. Hopefully it gets maybe pushing 300 miles of range, but even something in the upper 200 is more than acceptable for this type of vehicle. And the price point, once again, as long as it has a better DC fast charging capabilities, because we know that that was the one Achilles heel of this current Bolt, as the 55 kilowatt DC fast charge max capability. So we really need something well over 100 kilowatts in my opinion. Maybe pushing 150 would be nice. Now, this is going to be a streamlined kind of fast track product by GM. They said in the press release, so I think we'll have more details maybe sometime earlier next year as to kind of what GM plans to do with this vehicle, whether they're going to base it on the current generation Bolt with just a heavy refresh and modification to the Ultium platform, or if they're going to transition it to an all-new Ultium type of platform vehicle, ground up redesign, just kind of fast track it, get it to market as soon as possible. But again, time will tell on that. But either way, I think we should have an all-new Bolt really ready to go maybe in the next 2 years or less, based on what they were saying and how quickly they want to get it back onto market. Because as we know, demand was extremely strong for the final 2023 model year here on the Bolt. Again, the price point, the EV tax credits, all of the incentives that you get with this vehicle was just made it a very compelling package at or under $20,000 depending on where you live and what you qualified for. So again, I just want to bring this news to you guys out there. I'm sure you guys have been following along some of your favorite channels out there and have already seen it, but just want to give you my take. And again, I think the Bolt is a great value, and really it doesn't have much competition as of yet. I know the Equinox EV was going to be a somewhat of a competitor, given that GM quoted it would originally come in right around the $30,000 price point to start. But some of my understanding with the Equinox EV is it'll probably have a low $30,000 price point to start, but it'll go well into the 40s, depending on how you equip it, depending on what drive type you get, whether you get the front wheel drive, all wheel drive, and of course what trim package you get as well. So with all that being said, just want to bring you guys this news, and maybe we can go ahead and take a quick look at this 2019 Bolt behind me, which did have the battery recall, because as we know, some very few were catching fire, and there were some issues with these packs, but this one has the recall, has the updated battery, and this one is priced under 18,000 miles, which is pretty insane. So the Bolt in front of us is a 2019 LT. I believe this one is fully loaded for the model year, including the DC fast charge option, because that was not standard on every Bolt until 2020 model year, if I'm not mistaken, where it did get some minor updates as far as the technology. Some of the adaptive cruise control, the surround view camera system was updated to the HD resolution, but it still overall has the same about 55 kilowatt DC fast charging, no matter if it was optional or standard in the later model years. This is just a fantastic color, kinetic blue metallic. One of my favorites on the Bolt. Of course, they've always had the fun ones, including I think Shock was available. They had the teal color for a couple of model years in like 2020 and 2021. And of course, this bright blue and all the other normal colors you would expect on a vehicle like this. But again, for a small compact hatchback, I don't really think you could ask for much more. Over 250 miles of range, very efficient EV as a whole. There's of course the DC fast charge plug and the J1772 connector. Proximity entry on all four door handles. That's not something you see on every GM vehicle nowadays. This one appears to be fairly well kept. And given that this is a sub $25,000 EV on the used market, we'll have to see what Illinois decides to do when they bring their used EV tax credit, the state incentive, back available to consumers. But this vehicle should qualify, given that it's under $18,000 currently, as the market suggests the price should be. And combine that with the $4,000, not only the federal but also the Illinois state. Whenever they bring that back, this is like an insane bargain on the used market for what you're getting, considering this is an electric car and everything like that. Now, of course, the Bolt isn't feature packed, especially in the regular version, but the EUV that they brought out later for a couple of model years did have a lot of the nice safety systems, including the basic Super Cruise functionality. But even with this one, still has the huge touchscreen infotainment system, the fully digital cluster, leather wrapped steering wheel, heated steering wheel, the basic lane keeping assist systems with the collision avoidance, heated front seats. Like I said, this is a pretty much fully loaded LT Bolt. Really nothing to complain about. And it also does have the one pedal drive mode, where you put it down in low and that will simulate a one pedal drive mode. And there is even a sport mode on these Bolts. Probably increases the throttle response and everything like that. But yep, pretty nice vehicle considering the price point that these could be had both new and used, given the tax incentives. But yeah, 66,000 miles. And one thing I did want to mention and show is that this does have almost a lifetime efficiency. There you can see over 58,000 miles on this trip. 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour is very impressive for efficiency. Now, of course, some of the things that maybe I would like to see improved, that I think they did improve, especially on 2022 and newer Bolts, is just the fact that the seats themselves in these earlier ones were not the best. This one's not terrible, but sometimes the bolsters would wear down. Some of the hard plastics on the inside would start to poke through, and it just became uncomfortable as a whole. Of course, they pretty much already updated the technology, and especially the EUV, like I mentioned, with the Super Cruise functionality. Now, that was not the full advanced systems that has the automatic lane change, anything like that, but it still was a hands-free Super Cruise system nonetheless. Do have a video here on the channel if you want to check that out. But really, like I said, this has automatic high beam assist, heated steering wheel, lane keep assist, really pretty much everything you would want in a day-to-day vehicle, in my opinion. And I think the biggest question by a lot of people is not only what they're going to update the platform to, but also, some of the battery technology and how fast the DC fast charging is going to be. Like I said, anything over 100 I think is going to be acceptable, especially if they can keep the price point where the current generation Bolt is, around that low $30,000 price point to start, even in the mid 20s if you get a stripped down, bare bones LT. But I think they'll probably increase the range just a little bit. They'll, of course, increase the charging speeds, increase all of the technology available, and that will no doubt drive the price up maybe just a little bit, but I don't think it'll be as much as a lot of new EVs coming on the market. So I still think it'll be one of the most affordable, one of the most value-packed and attractive vehicles for a lot of people out there. And Chevy did mention in their press release that the Bolt accounts for like 70% or something of Bolt sales are conquest sales, meaning they're coming from different manufacturers and trading in different vehicles, which is maybe played into their decision making as to why they wanted to keep it around and make it a next generation. But still, like I said, this is great news for EV enthusiasts out there, and I still think it is a solid deal. However, there are other options out there, including from General Motors, that will be on the more affordable side, less than the average new vehicle price, if you will. And a lot of these should qualify for the federal and state incentives moving forward. But of course, that is kind of a dynamic, fluid situation. And if you guys have been following along on the channel, you guys know that I will provide updates on the Illinois EV tax program when I have it. The only information I have from my last videos last fall is that they allocated less money than the last year's program. I think they allocated about $12 million to this fiscal year, and don't have any timelines as to when that's actually going to go into effect and when the program starts for this calendar or fiscal year, sorry. So I will keep you guys updated as far as that goes, because this vehicle right here would qualify for that program whenever it goes into effect, given that it is for sale here in Illinois. As long as you qualify for the program, being an Illinois resident, have the income guidelines and everything like that. But Yep, just wanted to bring you guys this news. I think it is fantastic and good for those that want an affordable electric vehicle with some updated technology. So as always, I appreciate support here on the channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you guys are not already, and let me know your thoughts about the Bolt returning here in a next generation, as they call it. I'm sure you guys are feeling the same way I am. I'm very happy and impressed that GM made such a decision, and hopefully they do fast track it and get it to market, you know, within the next year or two. I think that would be awesome, and definitely remain very competitive in the marketplace. But with all being said, I appreciate the support. Hope to see you guys in the next one.